So today we're going to learn how to make this neomorphic effect on Illustrator. It's really quick and simple. So I start off my floor plans with using AutoCAD. So basically what you see here is just exporting my design into a PDF format. So the first step is copying and pasting the PDF onto your canvas board and make sure you set it in its location properly. This just makes it easier later on because it's going to be layers effectively that create this effect. The first step that you want to do is select all the walls from your main PDF layer, and you want to Control C and then paste it in place. The next step to make sure that the outcome is really clean and neat is to select all your walls and essentially remove the stroke effect and put in a fill of any color. We are going to be changing that later on. And once you just tweak it around, there might be gaps here and there. Once you select all the walls, you want to go down to Pathfinder and make sure they all merge together and create one entire shape. The next step that I do is creating a background layer, and that's what you see here. Also, I tend to stay away from using a pure white because we need that pure white to create the highlights, as you see later on. Details for all the colors that I have used for the wall, the background, the shadow, and the highlights will be at the end of the video, so you can also just stick around and take a screenshot of that. The background layer is below your main wall layer. I change the wall color into being the same exact color as the background layer. Then I take and I duplicate the wall layer and I name this shadows. Once you have put the shadow layer below the wall layer, you can go ahead and click on Edit, Stylize, and Drop Shadow. You can see the shadow effect created here. I went ahead and I changed the color of the shadow to a bit more blue color. These colors are again at the end of the video with The next step is to repeat the same process that we did for the shadows, but here we're going to name this highlight, and we're going to essentially do the exact same process of edit, stylize, drop shadow. The only difference here is that we are going to be changing it to pure white, and the X and Y locations are going to be the same number but just negative, so it's going to go in the opposite direction. So you can see the effect essentially has been created, but it's not perfect. To create that more perfect finish, for both the shadow and highlights, I went ahead and I added a Gaussian blur to them, and this again just tweak it around to how big your floor plan is or how small it is and how much of a depth you're actually looking at. that's basically it. It's that simple. I'm just going to show you a few extra steps that I take over here to give it a little bit of that finishing touch, where I add in my floor plan elements in a very neutral blue color again, and I do the same process of copying it from my main PDF layer and then pasting it in place in a new layer. And I remove all the fill and I just put stroke. I edit the stroke thickness, and finally I just add text in according to the font that I like, the color that I like, and I move it around. That's about it.